Good acceleration here. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video I'm reviewing a Mercedes G63 G-Wagon. Super excited to finally be able to review one of these. First and foremost, so a huge shout out and thank you to the Mercedes-Benz of Farmington, Utah for giving me some time with this G63. It is available for sale if you're interested. Check out the inventory in the description down below. And then on a side note, this Mercedes store is super simple to work with as a customer. They are a one-price store, so they're not going to give you a hard time whatsoever like you may experience at other Mercedes dealerships. You guys know what I'm talking about. So reach out to them if you want an easy buying experience. And then on a side note, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into the review. So under the hood, we have a twin-turbo 4-liter V8 that goes through a 9-speed automatic transmission. Power outputs for the G63 are 577 horsepower and then 627 pound-feet of torque. And notice how you can see the person that actually produced this engine. These engines are hand-built, which is a cool aspect of them. And then you can see the giant AMG logo. And notice like how stuffed under the hood this is. It's so cool to see a big V8 still under the hood of the G-Wagon. But there you go. Now let's go over the front end of the G63. So first off, it's green. What more could you ask for? I love this color. So we got the Mercedes logo there front and center, and then you can see the turn signal indicators in normal G-Wagon fashion. We've got these LED accent lights that are wrapped around the projector headlights, which are extremely bright if you guys are wondering. We've got our AMG logo there on the grille, and then you guys can see the overall kind of like shape and design of the grille. And then we've got our Mercedes logo front and center with the camera there at the top of the logo. And then down below here, right, we've got this because again, we've got to stay with that off-roader type theme. And then notice here parking sensors on the front end. And overall, especially in green, this thing looks killer. Coming to the side here, we've got two 95mm tires wrapped around 22-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. And then you see the design here with the wheel, which I think looks fantastic. You got the silver ring on the outside with that subtle AMG logo. And then I love how the wheels themselves have a matte finish. Definitely cool and contrasts very nicely to the gloss green paint on this particular G-Wagon. We have our giant AMG brake caliper, and look how big the rotors are. Remember, 22-inch wheels, and that rotor fills up most of the wheel. And then here's a quick look at the front suspension. Notice here how it's body painted there for the fender flare. We have our AMG V8 bi-turbo badge, and then you can see here with the blacked out trim that continues all along the side. The mirrors are blacked out. You got the side steps with the side mounted exhaust tips as well. And then here's your full side view. I love the stance on it, and again with the contrast between the wheels and the green, it looks great. Now here's our key fob for the G63. Notice that we've got our AMG logo there on the back. We have unlocked, lock function, Mercedes logo there in the center. And here's a quick look at the taillights. Notice the G63 badge just up above. And listen. So satisfying with the sound. Now you can see here with the leather on the back of the hatch, looks fantastic. You've got the carbon fiber just up above. We've got our rubber floor mats here in the rear. Cargo cover as well, and then you've got the outlet there off to the side. Now storage space here is fantastic, and because of the boxy square design, you've got tons of room up top for more storage space. And wait for it, just listen, satisfying. Now let's finish things up with the rear of the G63. So first off, we have the spare tire here in the beautiful Mercedes tire carrier. And you can see it's blacked out here on the side as part of the G63 package, because, you know, they kind of black out most of the stuff, except for that G63 badge. Parking sensors here all along the rear with the receiver hitch there at the very bottom. And let's quickly look at the shocks and suspension here. So definitely different than the G550 that I just reviewed. Sorry, it's kind of hard to see. Let me turn up the brightness here a little bit with the camera so you can see that setup just a little bit better. Now here's the door panel in the rear. You can see the padding, and then down below with the leather trim and stitching, and then the carbon fiber down below that. Speaker for the Burmester sound system. And we've got heated seats here for the rear passenger. Got the side steps in. Notice the exhaust tip sticking out below the side step itself. And AMG logo. Now notice here with the seats perforated here in the center portion of the seat. And then stepping in, here's the legroom. Then headroom as well. Now it's got the vents here for the rear passengers. We've got our own climate zone here for the back as well. And we have our cup holder armrest situation. Let's head to the front. Now here's the front door panel with the G63 again. You can see here with all the leather, and then down below with all the stitching. More carbon fiber with the beautiful silver trim. And I love the feeling of the door handle. All of our window controls here at the top with the mirror adjustments. There's a quick look at the mirrors themselves. They do have blind spot monitoring. All of your seat adjustments, you have heated, cooled seats. One of the speakers for the Burmester sound system. AMG logo. And then here are the front seats. Look at the padding on the headrest. And then again, another AMG logo perforated here all down the center. And I love have little inserts on the seats. That looks great. And then again, everything's cleared up here on the side of the seat because of the seat adjustments right there. Pedal layout down below. And then notice we got our light control here, parking sensors, lane keep, and then again you can see the leather there. And then I love the look of the vents here. And look how you can like swerve them. That's another cool thing with the G-Wagon. But let's pop in. So here is the steering wheel for the G63. Now I've seen several different steering wheel designs with the G63. This one's the full leather. I've seen Alcantara carbon fiber mixed with the steering wheel as well. So there's just different steering wheels that you can get. That's all you need to know. Love the paddle shifters. Those are cool. And then you can see we've got our like, cruise control here. We've got like volume controls, all that kind of stuff on the other side. AMG logo down below. And by the way, these little haptic feedback buttons. This is for like the infotainment system to control it from the steering wheel, which is pretty neat. Steering wheel adjustments actually down there, and then also windshield wiper turn signal stock. Column shifter, which is kind of like a Mercedes-Benz thing. And there's a steering wheel. Now here's the center gauge cluster. You can see full digital gauge cluster. Now on the left side of the steering wheel, you've got some controls that you can actually control the center gauge cluster itself. You can go through some different menus, which is pretty cool, easy to use as well. And I just love the graphics on this. Now, going through the drive mode select, we have our Sport, Sport Plus, and then on the other side, we got Comfort, Individual, and then Slippery from a drive mode perspective. Now, I just reviewed a G550 before this, and that had a desert mode. This one does not, so I assume that they don't really expect this one to be taken off-road between the performance brakes and, you know, 22-inch wheels. Now, you can kind of see the ambient lighting all around. That's throughout the interior, and it just sets a really nice tone. Now, if I actually pop it into reverse, got the backup camera, which will pop out. Notice the trajectory lines turn at the steering wheel. You got that full 360 view, and you can scroll through the different viewpoints here. And notice like everything's covered from a camera perspective, which if for some reason you ever took your G63 off-road would help out, but it also helps out with just getting this into a regular parking space. So they've nailed it from a camera perspective. And then as for the rest of the infotainment system, I'm just going to lightly touch. You can see this is not a touch screen. There's two different control pads to basically control the infotainment system. It's really easy to use between the dial or the little keypad. I'll show you those two guys in just a moment. Notice we do have massaging seats as well. And there's the infotainment system. Now down below we have more of those beautiful vents, and we have our front, middle, and rear lockers for the G63. It's just a G-Wagon thing. Really cool that it has that off-road practicality. And then you can see the climate controls down below, little clock, and then got this carbon fiber panel that'll cover that whole section up. A couple of cup holders right there. And then here is the first control for the infotainment system, the keypad thing, and then you have the dial right next to it. So you got both of those. This is for the suspension, to change that up to basically go from this is Comfort, this is Sport, and this is Sport Plus from a suspension standpoint, and then manual shift, then drive mode select, volume control, and then this is the exhaust to make it quiet or loud. You do have low range as well. And then again, carbon fiber all around. Here's the center console. Notice the leather here, and then again on the dash, and then carbon fiber here on the grab handle. And here's the glove box. Now up top here we do have a sunroof, and then you can see the headliner, very nice from a material standpoint. And then I love this little accent piece for the sound system, and got a traditional mirror here, which I should probably adjust so I can see out the back, but there you go. So if you want the most up-to-date price on this G63, check out the Mercedes-Benz and Farmington's website in the description down below. Let's take it out and see how it drives. Let's talk about visibility before we set off. There's your visibility of the hood. Both mirrors, which do have blind spot monitoring. Then throughout the rest of the rear. And let's set off. So setting off in the G63. Right now I've got the suspension in Comfort, and from a drive mode perspective, we are also in Comfort as well. So everything is in Comfort here with the G63. Again, I just drove a G550 before this. I'll be posting a comparison video shortly. When I get some time, I'll put the videos together and then give you guys kind of like my thoughts with them compared to each other. But I can see the steering on this does feel a little bit heavier than the G550. This kind of has just a sportier feel overall, including the suspension, right? This isn't rough by any means, but this definitely does have a firmer feel to it. Yeah, this engine sounds so good. Actually, I'm just gonna open that up. I don't know why I'd ever have that. I would never drive this with the valves closed. I'm all about that sound from this 4-liter V8. This does have the inflatable bolsters. I have noticed that going around some of the corners. They are inflating, so that's another nice feature to have. And let's see what happens when I firm up the suspension. So we'll go into the firmest setting right here. I don't know what's happening here. We'll just let these people figure this out. Okay. Yeah, I've got the suspension in the firmest setting right now. We'll kind of see how that feels. Still feels smooth, even in this firmer setting. Handles great, considering what this is, right? This is a, you know, pretty, yeah, so it definitely is firmer, but it's not uncomfortable. Handling doesn't really feel like it changes when you change the suspension mode, so I mean, I would personally just keep it in comfort. I'll pop it into the Sport Plus, but Sport Plus and comfort suspension. That's what we're gonna do here today. Yeah, I'm surprised how smooth this is, and so quiet too with the interior. It's another big plus. And then I'll pop it into the manual mode. Pop in here. Turning radius on the G-Wagon is actually really solid too. That was another thing I'm impressed with is, you know, it's a pretty big SUV, right? But it's really good from a turning radius perspective. Yeah, this definitely feels, you know, the part in terms of the firmness compared to the regular G550. But we'll get acceleration here. Man, this thing is quick. And it sounds good. Yeah, this is the exhaust they have on the G63, man, I understand why people get the G63 over the G550 now. It's a substantial difference, right? I mean, you guys know the power figures, right? This is like almost 600 horsepower, and the G550 is like low 400s. Transmission's just as responsive. Yeah, that is thrilling, let me tell you. I didn't expect that, right? Because when you know, in the past when you hear G-Wagon, you think, oh, it's this big heavy SUV with a big V8, and you know, people say, oh, it's not all that fast. This is more than adequate from a power perspective. I mean, the regular G550, frankly, is more than quick enough. This is just on a whole nother level, and you do feel the braking difference too. I can confidently say that this does feel like it brakes a little bit better. I mean, it's got bigger brakes, right? That's kind of what you expect. But I guess something's up here with the AMG version. So first off, from an exterior aesthetics perspective, the G-Wagon looks so good. Interior is super high quality as well, so that's another big plus with the G-Wagon. And yeah, I mean, I don't have anything bad to say about this. Like, everything that I heard coming into this review with there being too much wind noise and it's still clunky and it's heavy and this and that, I don't feel like that is true. It handles great, it sounds great, suspension feel is amazing. Like, this is all set. And I guess I'm kind of thinking at the end of this review, with the G63 versus the G550, and I'll do a more comprehensive review, I feel like this is the one to get if you're gonna just purely drive on road, because this is like a full-blown like performance SUV. The G550 though, if for some reason you wanted to take your G-Wagon off-road, I think that would be the one to build up. Just listen to that. I'm gonna pop it back into the automatic mode. But yeah, Mercedes nailed it with the new G-Wagon. It's an amazing luxury car, performance car, and It's got off-road capability if you ever want to take it off-road. That's gonna sum things up for our video on this Mercedes G63 G-Wagon. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Mercedes-Benz of Farmington for giving me some time with the G-Wagon. Check out the inventory in the description down below. I'll see all of you in the next video.